Good morning. Welcome to JP's Morning Brief. Sorry about the little bit of a delay there. Rumble didn't want to let me in just a minute ago. I had to back out, refresh, and then come back in. So I'm here now. That's good. Hope everybody had a good weekend. Got a little bit of a cold right now. I'm nursing it. I'll be all right. Such is life. Well, so welcome to the morning brief for February 16th, 2026, President's Day, which is cool. It's a combination of Washington's birthday and Lincoln's birthday. All right, so and this is our semi-quincentennial celebration for our 250th anniversary. So unique day, President's Day, semi-quincentennial, all works out. All right. So, welcome to the morning brief. Before we get started, please click that follow button to become a follower of the podcast. And then, boy, I can tell my voice is going. Click that like button, please, and then give us a chat. If you chat with me, which would be great, it helps me out and stuff. I will interface with you either verbally or by typing. So, but it's good to have a conversation. There's people out there and stuff. I think a lot of people got the day off, so we'll see. We'll see how this all turns out today. All right, so let's go. We have a letter for America 250. And before, I've been reading a lot of letters, but I do know there's an engagement coming toward the end of the month of February, so be prepared. As I think it happened in South Carolina, but so we'll get to that one. So I got a letter here from General George Washington to Jonathan Trumbull for Sunday, the 15th of February, 1776, and at noon I'll have one for the 16th. Your favor of the 12th I received, which means letter, and I beg leave to inform you that I should have most certainly contrived to and have spared you some money for the troops going to Canada, pressing as the demands against me were, and had I not been advised of the supplies sent you by the Congress for that purpose. I shall be glad to know whether, when I pay the militia from the government, I am to give warrants only for the balance, after deducting $3 advance per man by your committee of the pay table, and whether I am to refund what they paid after the militia have served the time they engaged for. The whole of them are not yet come in, but I imagine it will not be long first. I am much obliged to return you in sincere thanks for ordering the powder from the Providence to this camp in this time of necessity, and will most cheerfully pay for it or replace it when it is in my power, as shall be the most agreeable to you, and also for the arms you are good enough to promise to send me, as they are exceedingly well wanted. Man. I had received almost a similar letter from General Lee to the one you have forwarded me with yours come to hand, and also heard arrival of powder, saltpeter, and arms in Philadelphia. My accounts are only make the powder 15 tons, but that, as it may, it is an event of much importance, and I am most followed by more. I am served with great esteem and regard, your most obedient servant, George Washington. Pretty good letter. Man, it's amazing how much gunpowder people make. I've never made gunpowder a day in my life, but I can imagine. Man, like I said, just forgive me about my talking this morning. I haven't said anything since I've been up. I've been up for a couple hours trying to do show prep and stuff, and I can tell it's going to be one of those days. All right, so before we get on to the rest of the quick brief, because it's already 6:36, talk about my buddies over at the Dalmatian. I actually got to see them on Saturday. But they make smash burgers and dogs right here in Copper's Cove. All their ingredients are homemade and fresh, including their buns. Give them a try. They're open for lunch Monday through Saturday, 11 to 2, and for dinner Tuesday through Saturday, 5:30 to 7. And they're located in Copper's Cove on the west side on 190. Behind Bush's Chicken. Give them a try. Check out their burgers and their hot dogs. They are really good. All right. So there we go on that part. All right. So where do we start? Miss Guthrie. Crazy that we're still talking about this right now. You got my heart bleeds for her. This is unbelievable. I don't know what I would do if I was in her shoes. But after 2 weeks, this is like 2 weeks and day 2. So this is 14, 15, 16 days. Unbelievable. Hold on, let me get started here. What in the world? Oh, looks like Rumble changed up their format a little bit. They got the shorts, and I guess shorts are commonplace now. Okay. I don't see it on mine yet. That's all right. All right. So I had to get on here before it kept switching me, going back to screensaver. All right. So 2 weeks and 2 days. So that's day 16 now. I'm gonna go over a little bit. That's if I can get my mouse over here. So as I'm talking, I'm going to put this over on a other screen media. There we go. All right. So just so you can refresh your vision of this crazy guy. It's over on the right. Okay. So Miss Guthrie made a video last night saying it's never too late to do the right thing. She posted a video on Instagram yesterday, marking 2 weeks. It says, I wanted to come on, and it's been 2 weeks since our mom was taken, and she was taken. It wasn't a botched robbery. Someone came in and took her. And I just wanted to come on and say that we still have hope and we still believe. And then Miss Guthrie said, and I wanted to say, whoever has her or knows where she is, that it's never too late and you are not lost or alone. It's never too late to do the right thing, and we are here. We believe, and we believe in the essential goodness of every human being. Okay, so and then let's see. Retired police sergeant pushes back. Okay, so evidently there's some people in Arizona telling all the reporters to leave. Well, if you leave, the story just goes away and you're back at ground zero at the starting point. So some says the retired police sergeant and trainer Betsy Branter Smith said that an Arizona House member is part of the reason why Tucson is such a mess after the Democrat lawmaker criticized the reporting in Nancy Guthrie's house. Uh, State Representative Alma Hernandez, who represents Tucson, slammed random wannabe journalists and YouTubers who says have caused more harm than good, and urged reporters to go home and let law enforcement do their job. Um, so, you know, she may say she has the freedom to say what she wants. I mean, she's still a lawmaker, but she just doesn't understand as that the more you get the word out and you keep saturating the news with it, someone's going to see something and say something. But like I just said, if you erase it out of the news, it goes away and no one knows about it anymore. That's like what I was just thinking about doing my show prep. Uh, I was printing a couple things out over the weekend because, like I told my wife, that man, if I wait till Sunday night or Monday morning to do my show prep for the morning brief, it ain't going to be there anymore because the news likes to scrub it so you don't know what's going on out there, and you're like a mushroom. They can just keep you in the dark and let you believe what they want you to believe. So if you go out and see the news in the real, print it off so you have a record of it. Um, and then there was some people saying it was a burglary. I don't think it was a burglary. Most burglars don't show up in surgical gloves to break in a place, right? So that is, and they're waiting for some DNA testing to come back from Quantico. I think it was from Quantico. Right, let me get back out of that one. So for the rest of the, hold on, let me see. We got that there. Good. Okay, I'm tracking now. All right. So the rest of the things going on here is I got 3 things about Virginia. Okay. They're all from Fox News. Yeah, they're all from Fox News. And I'm just going to go over part of it because I'm going to cover it more in detail when it comes to noon today. All right, so this is crucial state. This crucial state is the latest battleground in the redistricting war between Trump and Democrats. Democrats lawmakers in control in Virginia's legislature are fast-tracking a proposed new congressional map that would give the competitive state up to 4 more left-leaning House districts in time for this year's midterm elections. No, they're wrong about that. The map, which Democrat Governor Abigail Spanberger from the Democratic People's Republic of Virginia is expected to sign early next week. Comes as Virginia voters are getting ready to vote this spring on a ballot measure that would give the legislature, rather than the current nonpartisan commission, redistricting through the 2030 election. And remember, Virginia just voted 6 years ago to have their reapportionment done by a nonpartisan commission, which gave the Democrats a 6-5 majority in their U.S. congressional seats. And now they want to just do away with it, do away with the will of the people that voted for a nonpartisan commission and go back to be partisan. And I've seen over and over and over on Facebook, I don't know why I'm getting so much stuff from Virginia, but I read a lot of it. And there's some heated debate going on about why they're doing this, and they can't wait to vote for it. No, they're not going to vote for it. And I saw a deal with Eric Cantor and Jason Mieres that they're filing suit to try to prevent it from taking hold. And then there was someone that mentioned, no, more than one person that mentioned Texas. if Texas can do it, we can do it. Well, I replied to one of them, and I was like, "Oh, let's let them fight this battle to a point." But it's interesting. Texas is a redistricting battle, and Virginia's is that Texas is a legislature-based reapportionment state, which means our state legislature develops the maps by which the boundaries are put in place for our congressional districts. And we do have that authority to do mid-decade redistricting. It happens every now and then, especially back in the days of the Civil Rights Act, where our maps, we would draw up our maps, and then we would have to submit them to a federal court, and the federal court would say, "Oh, yep, it's good," and or no, it goes back, and then it'll be like 4 years into your redistricting, and then you have to go back and redo the map, so lines will shift some more. So, but yeah, here in Texas, our state legislature determines the boundaries for congressional districts. But like in Virginia, they have a commission that sets all the boundaries for them now. Like they're doing in California, they want to overrule the will of the people in a vote that was passed in the state, not by the legislature, by the people in the state that have this nonpartisan commission doing. We all know it's not really nonpartisan. It's always blatantly liberal because you have Eric Holder's group of people that are pushing all this stuff. But fact is that they want to circumvent the will of the people of Virginia and make it a 10 Democrat, 1 Republican state, other than a 6 Democrat, 5 Republican state. I have a feeling that this is going to turn on them, but I'll go more into this later. It's going to turn on them, and they're going to be dealt a defeat. The Democrats will be. To go along with that, Hakeem Jeffries says, let's talk about Maryland, because this is a fight within your own party, the governor. This is written by Hannah Patrick. No. I wanted to read that last paragraph. There we go. See, I read the stuff I tell y'all. Okay. Raju asked Jeffries about how much money the Democrats are willing to spend to get ballot initiatives in Virginia passed specifically. The Virginia Senate voted 21-16 among party lines Wednesday to pass a set of new congressional maps that would leave just 1 Republican district in the state in play. And he said, whatever it takes, we will spend tens of millions of dollars to make sure the Republicans do not successfully manipulate voters in Virginia, and that voters have all the information necessary to make a decision on whether they want Donald Trump to rig the midterm election. He's not rigging it. And to halt the ability for American people to decide who's in the majority, or whether the people of Virginia and the people of America should be the ones to decide. Well, you know what? The people of Virginia decided 6 years ago when they voted to have that nonpartisan commission. If they didn't want the legislature to vote their districts, then they wouldn't have passed that nonpartisan commission, in which they did resoundingly. Okay, and this one right here, this is even wilder, right? As America turns 250, Trump should restore Washington, D.C.'s original borders. I read this, and I'm telling you, what they did in 1847, which is about 180 years ago, right? Virginia Democrats just proposed an electoral map that would potentially give Democrats 10 of the state's 11 reps in the House. In a state that voted 46% for Trump, it's outlandish to only give Republicans roughly 9% of the state's representation. Virginia should be careful, though. The only reason it has such representation is because of its racist past. Perhaps President Trump should rectify the historical wrong with the overdue fix. It says, you see, 179 years ago, Arlington, once part of the District of Columbia, was given to Virginia for the express purpose of continuing slavery in Northern Virginia. Now Arlington, once part of the District of Columbia, is home to nearly 200,000 Virginians, a great many of whom are D.C. bureaucrats who now enjoy the benefits of living in the states while exerting disproportionate influence over the federal government. They receive essentially double representation. If Arlington residents want to influence Washington, they should be in Washington, just as the founders intended. Some history. In 1790, the District of Columbia was created. Its location was seated directly in between Maryland and Virginia, with both states exceeding 5 miles of their land. But in 1847, after the district pressed for abolition of slavery, Alexandria, now Arlington County, was officially retroceded after President James K. Polk issued a proclamation and the Virginia legislature accepted. Like the Civil War that followed, while there were financial, strategic, and voting interests at stake at the time, it is hard to argue that slavery was not a primary motivator, in which it was. Virginians were afraid that slaves would simply walk across the boundary into the district and become free. With the physical barrier of the Potomac parting Virginia from the district, slaves would be unable to gain their freedom. And indeed, if you've ever seen the Potomac, it's a very wide river. And indeed, as a result of retro-secession, slavery expanded in Virginia even after the district abolished it. The Supreme Court never weighed into whether this maneuver was even constitutional. It did acknowledge the transfer, but in a tax dispute. The D.C. Circuit issued a ruling that presumed constitutionally, but in an estates case. As a result, legitimate constitutional questions have been left to linger for 179 years. And this is where I'm going to end this one out just for right now. In the contract clause of Article 1 of the Constitution states that no state shall enter into any law impairing the obligation of contracts. In Virginia's agreement with the United States, it forever ceded and relinquished a full and absolute right to exclusive jurisdiction. The land was given for the permanent seat of government. If the government was permanent and forever, how then would the state initiate a law that impairs contractual agreement? There are additional constitutional concerns. Numerous agencies are housed in Arlington, yet Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17 of the Constitution that describes the seat of government as a tract of land that has been by secession of particular states In other words, the Constitution contemplated the seat of government to be independent of any state. That is a very good argument. That is an extremely very good argument. So, yeah, that is a big argument that could actually really definitely happen. So the president that allowed Texas to become a state did this in 1847, which I'm telling you, that is something else. So I'm going to read more about that a little bit later to everybody. What are we looking at? We're at 6:56. Hopefully that no one commented on it. Wow, I was surprised. I thought more people would comment on that one. And then we, in the Texas scorecard, I'm going to be reading about Texas ballot harvesting ban is upheld in federal appeals court. So I'm going to read about that this afternoon also. Now let me go. I can stay right there. Go back here. And then in Texas, tomorrow, early voting starts. It goes through the 27th of February. And then we have the primary day is March 3rd. And then the runoff election is May 26th. Right? And then we still have tickets available for the Lincoln Reagan dinner for February 21st, which is Saturday in Gatesville at the Texas Station Event Center. You can get your tickets by going to the QR code or going over to my show notes here. And at the bottom, you'll see a link to get tickets. They're only $60 a person or $100 a couple. And it involves chicken and steak and Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick. All right. So come on out and enjoy that. I'm going to be there. My family's going to be there. We bought a ticket to go. We bought a table, $600 table. And we're going to be sitting with some really good friends of ours. But yeah, come on out. Go to the show notes and click on the link. And if you don't want to come, fine. If you want to leave a donation for our county's Republican Party, that would be even better. All right. So let me. I got to get my stuff ready here real quick. So, because we are almost out of time for this morning show. All right. And I will see y'all at noon for the regular JPA report. What time we got here? Okay, we're about 40 seconds away. So I'm going to, I'm going to raid over to the Vince show. And then I will see y'all at noon. And we'll talk more about this redistricting because that was really interesting about that article from Fox about 1847 and the cessation of territory back to Virginia from D.C. All right. I may even read out of the Constitution. So we'll see it. So I hope everyone has a good morning. I'm going to transition over to my title page and we're going to do a raid. And this is James Pierce. I will catch you on the flip side. I'm out and here comes the raid. Raid is initiated. We got 12 seconds. Check y'all later.